No derrotamos al oscuro, lo liberamos. Nadie debería tener tanto poder.
Well, let's go with my first question. For the fans, for the audiences, what can they expect after the ending of the first season? What can they expect for the second one?
They can expect characters for whom nothing has gone as they planned. And they can expect characters who are, struggling with massive sea changes, trying to hold on to who they were while having to deal with who they're going to become.
That's great. This is great. That's how the Wheel of Time is, right? You have a plan, Mike Tyson quote, but once you get, until you get punched in the face, and that's basically the second season.
Do you think that this season is different from the first one, or it maintains the same tone?
Well, same characters, and more characters are being introduced in the second season, but it feels like they have matured, and now in the second season we know who this dragon is, and that changes a lot.
I like that thing of maturing. Your characters especially had a very shocking ending, both of them, in the first one, and now they are in the opposite sides. Rand is the Dragon Reborn. He has incredible powers, but he's struggling with this madness. And Moraine has lost her powers. So how are they dealing with it?
Not great.
Not great. Both of them.
No, Moraine has lost her life force, the reason that she, has existed as she's existed for the last 20 years, since becoming a fully qualified Aes Sedai. It's the thing that gives her respect, it gives her status, it gives her power, and it gives her satisfaction and pleasure. The one power is all of those things. It gives her connection to the people most important to her, and she now has to face the same enemies, but without her greatest weapon.
For Rand, it's completely different. For women, there is like an education program. You go to primary school, high school, university, and for men, there's nothing out there really, because it's too dangerous, and it's forbidden as well, because of the risks. Every time you channel as a man, you go closer to madness. So I feel like that journey for Rand is just very ugly and raw, and he's figuring it out all by himself, and he's trying to get more information about it, but that's not an easy task.
Like it. Well, this interview won't be out until the release of the show, so I have to ask you, because I'm from Spain, how was it working with Álvaro Morte?
We both love working with Álvaro.
Yeah, me too. It was great. It's and it was. I loved working with him, because it was so. He's on the other side, and Rand is just starting his journey. So that's obviously very confronting, but then he's also being quite still trying to help him in a way, and there's still kindness in Rand when he finds Logain, but it's just very confronting, and he's just so brutally honest, and I don't think Rand is quite ready for that yet. But it was great to work with him.
Yeah, he is fantastic to work with. Ever since we did our first scene in episode 4 of season 1, we decided that Moraine meeting Logain was going to be like a Western. It's kind of like it's high noon. It's two people coming together, both know they have the guns, they're not going to draw them. It starts talking, and at any point someone can unleash the power. And I think, we do coincide again in this season. You haven't seen it yet. But, does Moraine have the upper hand? Possibly. But you'll realize when I say that Moraine always has a plan within a plan within a plan, which I think is one of your lines.
It is my line.
Yeah. I knew I'd heard it somewhere.
I've said it 20 times to you. A plan within a plan within a plan.
Well, I've taken it on. I've ingested it.
Good.
So we encounter each other again, and I think when Álvaro comes in, he doesn't come into Prague for very long. So we get some rehearsal time because everyone's really excited because, he's in town, and then we get proper rehearsal, and, that benefits it as well. So, right?
Yeah. So cool. That sounds cool. I was so surprised when I saw him. I didn't know that he was going to be also in the second season, so it was like, wow.
Yeah, I think he was sort of simultaneously on the 2 most watched shows on Netflix and Amazon at one point.
Yeah, he was.
Sort of, yeah.
Now I want to ask you, because you share a streaming service with another incredible fantasy show, which is The Lord of the Rings. So I would like to know, how do you feel about that? Do you think that 2 big fantasy productions can coexist in the same streaming service? And what makes Amazon special about it?
Have you seen it?
Amazon are putting a lot of money into fantasy. I mean, I think they want to be a place that people go to fantasy, which can only be a good thing for both of us. If it's a platform that people connect with fantasy, then we're likely to get more and more subscribers coming to the platform. I think there's room for both of us, yes. I mean, Tolkien, the inspiration of Tolkien was the springboard for Robert Jordan to start writing these books. At first, he did it almost as a therapeutic exercise and was told to imitate Tolkien, and then he took it off in his own direction entirely. I mean, The Wheel of Time, all I really care about is that The Wheel of Time will still be watched on Amazon 20 years from now, that people will still go and find our show. The Rings of Power, when it started, it was filming in New Zealand, so there was absolutely no way we were ever going to coincide, although one of our directors, I think our directors sometimes go on, move between the shows. So directors in the Amazon stable, but I don't, I mean, we're so busy, and our book, we have such a volume of work to do that we don't, we don't get involved. I started watching their show, but I have not.
We went through the same things. That was what I thought was interesting. They went through COVID. We started around the same time. Then our show came out. Their show came out. So it feels like at one point we'll probably meet each other somewhere. That would be nice. But I agree. I feel like Wheel of Time was inspired by The Lord of the Rings. But when I was reading the books, just like you said, around like book 4 or 5 or even 3, I felt like, this is something else. It stands on its own, and it's it has become its own thing. And I feel like the show is the same thing, and probably the same for them.
That's nice. Okay, they are telling me that I have to wrap up. I will a lot of things.
Okay.
Guys, it has been so nice meeting you, and congratulations again for the show.
Thank you.
Great,
nice to meet you too.
Tú no eres una traba. Eres el agua que hace girar la rueda.